Due to you being rational animals, it is the reason that everything needs to be from your base of origin, for everything to work right. Then, congratulations for everyone in the world, for being there, the divulgation, the definition of the origin of the beings and of everything and all that comprises this enchantment, which no one has ever disenchanted, until now, the blessed disenchantment. How is rational immunization? The radio is an electric and magnetic apparatus, as it is the human being, an electric and magnetic apparatus that only transmits what the stations want to. And so are the electric and magnetic apparatus from rational origin, and that is why you are rational animals. Once immunized, you will receive all the orientations, transmissions, the dialogues, the conferences with the station from rational plane. As an example, the rational plane is the station and the human beings, down here, the electric and magnetic fluidic apparatus. But for you to have that contact, you need to know what rational immunization is, for you to immunize yourself and then receive all the orientations from rational plane, from the place of your origin. That is why you are rational animals, because you left rational plane. The origin is rational. You only need to know rational immunization to become immunized, and you will get all precise orientations for the equilibrium of life, all necessary conferences and all clarifications that may be necessary for everyone's equilibrium. Therefore, you are electric and magnetic apparatus. You will be oriented by your base of origin, let's say, by the rational station, from rational plane. A simple comparison with the radio, which only broadcasts what the broadcasting stations want, because you are electric and magnetic. And the human being, which is an electric and magnetic apparatus, is a body in electric and magnetic fluidic matter that transmits what he receives, everything that is necessary, from rational plane. But the immunized ones have, for example, to be in contact with the rational station. And so, arriving for everyone's equilibrium, or there being everyone's equilibrium, you will receive everything that is needed and necessary for the equilibrium and good march of this life, which is in the end of this horrible enchantment, horrible because you have lived since long as rational animals, without knowing anything about the origin of this being, about the origin of your being, and about the origin of the beings that comprise the world, doing there a mystery about everything. Maintaining the mysteries, living like a beast because you do not know how to solve the mysteries, the enigmas. Now, knowing everything clear, everything is on its way to arrive at your true places, of rational animals to pure, clean, and perfect rationals, our base of origin. By the deformation, the apparent, enigmatic, mysterious everything arose. You live and lived there without knowing where all originated from, where all came from, still living the weak experiences and always in experiences to get it right or not. Even when you get it right, everything stays the same, because it only needs to be deformed for it to stay the same and get worse and worse, because deformation is an evil. What goes bad goes on destroying itself, because evil destroys itself, because within deformation there is only that apparent right. Today it is right, tomorrow not. Today it is true, tomorrow it is not true anymore, and so is everything, in science, in everything. Today it is well, tomorrow it is not anymore. Today it is new, it is useful, tomorrow it is old, it can't be used anymore. Always renewing everything from worse to worse, and always with that instability. Today it is new, tomorrow it is old, it does not serve anymore. Always renewing everything from worse to worse, and always with that instability. Today it is right, tomorrow not anymore. Today it is right this way, tomorrow it is already another way, and the right always to be found. Within deformation you could never find the right, only the apparent right. Today it seems right, tomorrow it is not, and so, you never concluding the true knowledge, because the true knowledge is not there in the enchantment, because the true knowledge is not there in that deformation, where there is nothing of truth, starting with life itself, which is not true. If it was true, no one would lose it. Because it is not true, it ends. And like that is everything. Appearances are no truth. The truth of enchantment is only appearance. That is the reason for the modifications in everything, everything modifying. Then, you keep saying, we are progressing because we are unaware of the enchantment in the true being, because if we knew the enchantment in the true being we would say right away that evil destroys itself. Then you would say, we are destroying ourselves with this progress of destruction, and that is why everything is, each time, worse. The betterment stays only in plans, the betterment stays only in hope, and everything always from bad to worse, due to the progress of degeneration, which everything goes on degenerating, weakening, waning. There it is, the multiplication of suffering, the progress of destruction of the own beings, and what degenerates, progressing, multiplies itself from worse to worse until extinction comes and end in nothing. It weakens and weakens, wanes and wanes, due to the progress of degeneration, until it disappears. Here it is, the beautiful progress of the enchantment. Here it is, the beautiful progress of deformation, the degeneration of the own beings, due to them being unaware of why they are like that. Those who does not know their being, without knowing why they are like that, could not be sure about what they were doing, everything unconsciously, in a progress of unconscious ones, and always meeting with failure, due to them being in matter, in evil. For not being in the evil the goodness, you judge and think that in the evil is the goodness, due to unconsciousness. Unconscious ones, due to you not knowing the true origin, due to you not knowing where you came from, why you are like that, where you are going to and how you are going, due to you being unaware of the true natural, which is a pure and clean rationals, and do that, a progress of unconscious ones. Then, due to you being electric and magnetic apparatus formed like that, after you are immunized, receiving all the necessary communications, all the orientations from the rational base, as to say, it is there where the station is, and the humans are the apparatus. Then, all the precise orientations about everything coming, for the good progress and end of the world, naturally, without shocks of any kind, because what is natural does not shake anyone, what is natural the person does not feel, because it is natural, no one feels it because it is something natural. There it is, the end of the world, the end of everyone, so naturally, due to you knowing where you came from, where you are going to, and how you are going, what it is, what you are, and all precise explanations for the equilibrium of the animals, for the equilibrium of the unconscious ones, for the equilibrium of the enchanted ones, which lived here, in this enchantment, in this world, without providing a solution, without knowing why they lived here, without knowing why they were like that, without knowing why everyone was like that. Ignorant about everything, making mysteries of everything, due to ignoring your being. Therefore, you unconscious ones, care to know what rational immunization is, for you not to be born there, any more, into that horrifying enchantment, for you not to be born there, into that fire, cooking, melting, suffering, and due the unconsciousness you have due to you being unconscious, an unconscious one does not know what he says, suffering and claiming he knows, and the suffering proving he does not know anything. If you knew, you would not suffer. If you knew, you would not die. If you knew, you would not live in agony, like everyone in the world of enchantment. Therefore, today knowing, being aware, and seeing the reason of all this unconsciousness, knowing the true origin, which is the one of pure, clean, and perfect rationals and the reason why you became rational animals. Care to read for knowing what rational immunization is, for you to no longer be born again there in the fire, the world is fire, due to it being an electric and magnetic fluidic conjunct. Electricity is fire, the sun is fire, for you not to be born there any more, within that fire, within that hell, which is the world, and for very well you are never well, because everything is only appearance. Then, what are you? Electric and magnetic apparatuses, likewise an electric and magnetic radio apparatus, being the radio from here, this electric and magnetic conjunct and the human being is from different origin, for being from rational origin, and due to you being from this origin, that is why you are rational animals. And to be in contact with your place of origin, you just need to know what rational immunization is, for you to become immunized and be in contact with your base of origin, to receive the transmissions from rational plane, all precise orientations for the good equilibrium of everyone, for the good march of everyone, for everyone's tranquility, for everyone's peace, universally, for the good understanding among everyone, to extinguish the maladies that exist in the body, for the general happiness. Then, care to read, with a lot of persistence, do not waste time anymore. Due to you living there wasting time, it is that you suffer each time more. Put an embargo in your suffering with rational immunization, and for that do not waste your time anymore. But because you are unconscious ones, you are unbalanced like that. For you to be conscious, you need to be immunized, and to be immunized, you need to know what rational immunization is. And so, everyone saved by the true knowledge of the origin of everyone and of the world through rational immunization. You will talk with the pure ones from rational plane, you will be in contact with the pure ones from rational plane. you will be united with the pure ones from rational plane, the place of origin of everyone. Greater happiness than this one cannot exist for the human being, for the enchanted ones. There it is, the true knowledge of the formation of this horrifying enchantment, due to it being fire, electric and magnetic. The heat comes from the sun. It is a fluid that everyone feels but do not see it, and within the heat there are infinity of fluids, which gave origin to the beings, all different from one another, and do this, everyone has one's fluid, which gave origin to one's being. The person becoming immunized, the immunization catches that fluid and takes it to the place of origin, which is up there, on rational plane. Then the person will no longer be born here. There it is, the reason why everyone is different from one another, due to each one having one's fluid. And so are the colors. Within the heat there is infinity of fluids, infinity of colors. There it is, the reason for the colors. The sun produces heat and the fluid produces the microbe, and the microbe the formation of the beings. Then, who does not become immunized, the fluid continues to form there, and the person again is born there in that world to suffer until he dies, in that world of fantasies and illusions. So, there is the need to get to know what rational immunization is for you to become immunized and no longer be born there, in that rational deformation. This knowledge of the origin of everything has arrived in the world, because you were on way to extinction of this generation, by the progress of degeneration. What degenerates, diminishes, has already weakened, and multiplying to the extinction, from leftover to leftover. Continuation of the fluids. The fluid of rational immunization will dominate everyone, reign among everyone, due to it being from the true natural of everyone, due to it being from the true origin of everyone, and that is why this day had to come for you to get to know your true natural, which you did not know. There is no one who does not want to be under the influence or under the dominion of his true natural of rationals. The electric and magnetic is for the dominion of beasts, for the formation of beasts. That is why you are not equilibrated, you are unbalanced, you are free thinkers. The electric and magnetic is from evil origin, it is from material origin, and now, everyone knowing your formation, your origin, that you were pure, clean, and perfect rationals, knowing and being aware why you became to be like that. And everyone embracing what is from your true origin, which is rational immunization. Everyone wanting the rational fluid for everyone's equilibrium, for everyone's welfare, for everyone's happiness. Yes, everyone was looking for the goodness, but you did not know how to find it. In the electric and magnetic fluid, you could never have found it, only the apparent good, and not the true good. And today everyone is knowing the apparent good, which is from the magnetic and electric, and the true good, which is the fluid from rational immunization. The fluid from rational immunization is pure, clean, and perfect, due to it being rational, from the origin of the human being, from the origin of where everyone came from. And once that fluid inside the person, it regulates and equilibrates the person, everything starts to be right naturally, starts to get everything right, the person starts to change naturally, because goes on curing oneself, moving away the maladies from the electric and magnetic, until they are totally away, because the electric and magnetic fluid is deformed, and then, the pure fluid get in the person and the deformed one steps out, because the person is an electric and magnetic apparatus, but from rational origin. Then, reigns and dominates the person the fluid from his rational origin. That is why you are rational animals, from rational origin, and the fluid of your origin is the right one for dominating the beings from that origin, and due that you were qualified as rational animals, due to you belonging to something pure, and irrational animals because they are not pure. Then, the electric and magnetic fluid is for the dominion of the irrationals, and the fluid of rational immunization is for the dominion of the rational animals. But due to humanity does not know its origin, they are there dominated by the electric and magnetic. Thence, the disequilibrium, like wild beasts, like crazy ones, like inhuman beings. All of that done and produced by the magnetic fluid, only the disequilibrium reigning over everyone, and then, everything always from worse to worse. Due to you being dominated by the electric and magnetic fluid, you could only get from bad to worse. Now you are knowing what you are, the reason why you are like that, what you were, what you had been, and why you stopped being what you were to become who you are, knowing your origin, and embracing with nails and teeth, so you can be dominated by good, and not by evil, for you to be dominated by the fluid of rational immunization, for everyone's sake, for everything to multiply from good to better, due to you now knowing your true being, your true origin, and being dominated and guided by the base of your true origin. The rational fluid, for the equilibrium and welfare of all, rational immunization. Then, reigning rational immunization among all, dominating all, due to you being from this origin of rationals, and only now it is that you are knowing your origin, in this great discovery of rational immunization, which is the true natural of all, which you did not know. With rational immunization, you go on solving everything of well and good, because it irrational, from the origin of the human being, rational animals. And so, everyone very happy for knowing your true natural and why you lived there horribly like an animal, under the effects of the animal fluid. Dominated by those electric and magnetic fluids, you could never find the right, always doubting everything, suspicious of everything, due to the disequilibrium caused by the electric and magnetic fluid, which is of the irrational animal and not of the rational animals. Today, you are rich in satisfaction for finding the true base of the rational origin. What is rational has to be guided by its origin, which is rational, and not by the animal base, which is the electric and magnetic. The immunized person lives happily, due to being oriented by his base of origin. The person, who is not immunized, lives like a beast, an animal, oriented by the animal base, which is the electric and magnetic fluid. The deformed base, the animal base, the base of beasts, you live in doubt of everything, doubting everything, in the hope of everything, in the uncertainty about everything, suspicious about everything, afraid of everything, terrified about everything. This is the animal base, a hellish disequilibrium of crazy ones, unbalanced by the electric and magnetic fluid, which is the base of the animal beast, of the irrational beasts, of the irrational animals. But the base of the rational animals is another one very different, it is from origin of pure, clean, and perfect rationals, from up their rational plane. Then, care to know your origin for you to become dominated by your base of origin of rational through the fluid that enters inside the person and converses with the person, clarifies the person, equilibrates the person, and then everything working out in the person's life, conferencing with the person, and all precise orientations for the equilibrium of the person and of all the immunized ones. Therefore, there arrived on earth the greatest discovery of all times, the description of the formation of this whole you called world. Everyone here inside this hole, looking up there to the firmament, to the sun, to the moon and the stars, and without being aware, without knowing the reason of the existence of all of this, living like an irrational animal, which knows nothing about describing the origin of its being and much less about the origin of the other beings, due to you being under the electric and magnetic influence, due to you being under the beast influence, under the electric and magnetic influence. Continuation of the fluids. The electric and magnetic fluid is which governs the animal being, the rational. And the human being, for being from rational origin, has to be governed by the rational fluid, by rational immunization, by his base of origin. That is why you are rational animals, because the origin is rational. But the way you were there, you were being governed by the electric and magnetic fluid, by the irrational animal fluid, and that is the reason you have already been considered one of the wildest beasts, due to you being governed, orientated and guided by the electric and magnetic fluid, the fluid of the irrational animal being. That is why the human being became a wild beast, the bad genius produced by the electric and magnetic fluid, the fluid of the irrationals. The human being became misunderstood of himself, saying, "We are civilized beings and sometimes we proceed worse than an animal, which has no ratiocination or conscience." The human being became misunderstood of himself due to being under the permanent influence of these two fluids, the electric and magnetic, destructive fluids. All of that because you do not know your true natural, do not know your origin, and that is why you knew you were rational animals, but you did not know why you were rational animals and you were there becoming equal to the irrational animal due to not knowing your true origin of rational. And so, living there on earth like any other animal, because the irrational animal does not have the resources to know its origin. But the rational does have resources to know his origin, and now knowing his true origin of rational animals and living differently, due to living under the orientation of his base of origin, through rational immunization, which enters inside the apparatus, which is the human being, and puts the watch to work rationally. Thence, everything working out in everyone's life, the peace of everyone, the peace of the world, the good comprehension among all, the good understanding among all, due to everything being rational, because everything is from one's base of origin, from one's true natural of the rational animals, due to you being from rational plane, and from there coming all the orientation for everyone's equilibrium, for the good march of everyone's life, and from that, everyone living completely different from the way you lived as human beasts. Due to the electric and magnetic fluid, the destructive fluid, you will feel a great change. The rational fluid is pure, clean, and perfect and does not deviate from its being. The electric and magnetic fluid is full of defects, the fluid of monsters, due to being deformed, and due that the human committed the greatest monstrosities, influenced and dominated by the electric and magnetic fluid. Yes, if you are like that, it is because there is a cause for you to be like that, which is the electric and magnetic fluid. Knower, now, of your base of origin you will be dominated by your true natural being, due to you being from rational origin, and that is why you are rational animals, you are from another base of origin, as the irrational, which is from another base of origin, which is the electric and magnetic. And so, everyone caring to know what rational immunization is, for you to be immunized as soon as possible, to be integrated to the base of origin, or with your base of origin. And so, arising the welfare in all points of view, arising the true happiness, due to arising in everyone the true rational equilibrium, due to you being in contact with your base of origin day and night, rational plane, through rational immunization, embracing everyone, dominating everyone, orientating everyone, rationally, thereafter, everyone always from good to better, arising the equilibrium of everyone in the world, due to you being integrated with your base of origin of rationals. The ratiocination is very different from the electric and magnetic thought, which is from the rational animals, freethinkers. Then, the electric and magnetic did such a disadjustment in the human being that the person got misunderstood with himself, making confusion about everything, suspicious about everything, malicious about everything, after all, an unlimited disequilibrium. You lived like a beast, for being under the influence of the irrational, which is the electric and magnetic fluid, angry with everything, nervous about everything. The impatience, the electric and magnetic molested the human being, it is a destructive fluid. And so, now, knowers of all the formation, there being, then, the separation from the irrational animal. The rational under the orientation of the rational fluid, of rational immunization, under the orientation of your true being, and the irrational under the orientation of its true being, which is the electric and magnetic. The rational animal from your rational origin, governed and guided by the rational, your line of rational, your being of rational, your progress of rational, after all, a true change, very big one, because you were living like irrational beasts, under the influence of the electric and magnetic. Everything slowly, naturally, goes on arriving to its place. You will make this modification without feeling it, without any shock, naturally, because what is natural, the person does not feel, since your being is from rational, nature is from rational, and what is natural is the reason of the being, and the reason of the being is because it is in its true place. Then, rationally, everyone winning, everyone triumphing, everyone happy and content, because there it is, all the mysteries unveiled, the mysteries of the world and of all beings, and the categories in their places. There it is, the dominion by rational immunization, which is the true natural of everyone, the base of origin of everyone, the natural being of everyone, that is why you are rational animals. But the ratiocination did not work because you did not know your base of origin. The electric and magnetic was what worked. Then, there was that great confusion between ratiocination and thought. Now, yes, the ratiocination of the rational animals has arrived from your base of origin. Now it is that you are knowing what ratiocination is. Now it is when you will be rationals, because you are aware of and knowing all the transcription of your base of origin, of everyone and everything. Now you are knowing the true evil, which is the electric and magnetic, and the true good, which is rational immunization. All in different poles, each one in its own sector of origin. Animals you are all, but each one in its classification, each one inside its class, each one inside its category, each one within its being. The formation of the being. The origin of matter is in the magnetic force that comes from water. In water are all evil fluids, and what is evil is material. Water only produces evil, which is material, but if there was no water, there would not be this life, which is material. Therefore, from water comes everything of this apparent everything. That is why all beings are no more than standing water tanks. You dissolve because you transform into water. What are we made of? Of water, of the spermatozoid, which is a liquid, originated from water. That is why we are made of water, and when we die, we turn into water. From our bodies leave a vapor that is fluid, and turns into water. The vapor, the fluid of evil, due to it being material, it is originated from water. The material being is a stinky thing, disgusting, without qualification, only with an apparent worth, but appearance is no truth. What is a spermatozoid? It is a lowermost water drop, and from this lowermost water we are made of, for then, to be transformed back into water, when we die. That is why everything that starts from water, ends as water and not in dust, as many dare to say, from dust you came and to dust you shall return. But everything comes from water, and not from dust, because water is everything and dust is nothing. In the fluid of water are all colors. The white fluid of water makes white, the black fluid makes black, the yellow fluid makes yellow. And so on. Water transforms itself, it means, it deforms itself. That is why all beings produced by water are deformed, they are evil beings, material, from this deformation. Water is always transforming, that is why, besides of being deformed, it is irregular. So we have fresh water, salted water, ferrous water, sulfuric water, and all kinds of water. A part of the plane became water, and water in its turn, transformed itself into all things of this world. In so being, water is everything and dust, earth, is nothing. That is why dust dissolves into water. In the spermatozoid, which is from water, is everything of our body, the hair, the skin, the nails, the blood, the nerves, the bones, after all organs and all cells. The electromagnetic conjunct belongs to this deformation, where we are born and die. Therefore, our bodies are an identical system to nature that made it, this nature which is also electric and magnetic. The electric part is the fire that burns and destroys, and the magnetic part is the water that builds and forms everything. The magnetic force is water, it builds what is evil or material, deformed. And the electric force is the fire, destroys everything, making everything to turn into vapor and following water again. Therefore, in magnetism is the evil, the material. So, the philosophies, the sciences are from the enchantment. Those who trust in the electric and magnetic forces will be wasting time and cheating themselves, because those forces are originated from the formation of this evil conjunct fire and water of this deformed conjunct. That is why everyone in the world goes from bad to worse, and the disequilibrium increases each time more. And now, the living being asks, what would be of everyone in the world, who is based on these evil forces, on these two material forces, the electric force and the magnetic force, if it had not now arrived to everyone rational immunization, to equilibrate everyone? What would be of everyone under those conditions? The destruction of everyone would happen, total destruction, because evil destroys itself. And that is why the unconsciousness is very large in the world, and the unconscious one does not know what he says, much less what he does. But now has appeared in the world rational immunization, and it has appeared in Brazil, for the salvation of everyone. The continuation of this knowledge is found in the second volume and in the others up to the 21st volume.